Oh, you know what I hate though? Before we get into it, the videos of the people that leave the buckets out on the
That was me.
porch.
That was me. I'm sorry.
And then there's always some kid that walks up and just dumps
That whole.
a whole line of kids
I'm
behind
sorry.
them that want some of that candy,
That
and they're
was-
just like
That
running away.
was me, bro. Does that make me? I mean, that was me as a kid, though.
For one, I mean, kids are gonna do it because that's what they do. I mean, well, no, I can't even say that. There's a
I've
lot
seen
of kids.
adults do it.
Yeah, I have too. That's
As an adult, I
way
couldn't
worse.
do it. As an adult,
That's
I
way
couldn't
worse
do it,
because
yeah.
you look back and see all them
those
kids that
kids,
are in
yeah,
line
you're
waiting
right.
to get some of that candy, and you're just like, nope, my kid's getting it all.
So adult Hollywood would beat the hell out of kid Hollywood.
Yeah.
Put that goddamn candy.
Exactly.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah.
Hey, blast off, I can talk my ass off. Hey, smoke you what you seen and I'll tell you what I saw. Hollywood, what you think and I'll tell you what I thought. And we can talk about it all when we here on Trash Talk. Hey.
What's going on, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Trash Talkers podcast.
We made it.
We made it, Smoke.
Yeah, we did.
What's up, broski? Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. It is Halloween. It is All Hallows Eve, which means tomorrow is Hallows Day.
That's so weird. You would think they would say All Hallows Eve would be the day before, like
Yeah.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
But it's weird how Halloween
How
is
we celebrate the Eve instead of All Hallows Day.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, this is our favorite time of the year, our favorite holiday. It's spooky. Again, guys, if you're out there gonna go trick-or-treating, enjoy yourself, have fun, but ultimately be safe while doing it.
Absolutely.
Man, today, we might bring in some music, but we literally just want to talk about some things that have happened to us that were paranormal or
Yeah, spooky things.
yeah, spooky things. You have a story that I hope that you bring up, and
Which one?
you've got a few actually. And I'm not gonna tell you, or I want to see if you bring them up because I think they were like, okay, what did you see?
Yeah.
What did you see while going through there? And there could be a plausible explanation as to what you saw and to what I saw because I've got some too as well. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Also, I also want to talk about like some of the like myths. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
about Halloween
or just like scary like I promise you there ain't a trash talker watching this right now that will go into the bathroom, turn the lights off,
Bloody Mary?
close the door and say Bloody Mary. If I do it, was it 5 times?
I think it's 5 times, right?
I think so. There you cap if you say you'll go in the bathroom and do that. You cap. Won't nobody do it.
Dude, I was so afraid. I'd probably do it now. I don't know. I was so afraid to do it when I was a kid, though. Because when you're a kid, you believe those things.
Bro, I thought Michael Jackson literally could turn into a zombie.
And then Snoop Dogg could turn into a Doberman.
A Doberman, yes.
Yeah.
I legitimately believe that, man.
Yeah.
But yes, as we start off every podcast, we always read the top 3 comments from the previous podcast. And we also, guys, leave your birthday down in the comment section because at the end of the podcast, we do a segment called
What the Florida?
And it's not WTF, what the it's what the Florida.
Yeah.
But yes, leave your birthday down in the comments, just the month and the day, and we'll read and see what crazy things happened on your birthday in Florida.
Absolutely.
So let's read the top 3 comments from last podcast. Now, the number 7. The number 3 most liked comment from our previous podcast is, and the title was "What Killed Grunge." It's from GD229. Shout out GD229. He says, growing up during that time, it just really evolved into the next sound. I mean, I started with thrash, then started hearing some of the original grunge, which was heavier sounding, but then nu metal and industrial metal started to come around, and at the same time, grunge bands were getting softer in their style.
That's true, because it kind of bled into post-punk and alternative at that point.
Yeah.
So alternative, they mixed in a lot of folk, and it became a much softer sound.
Yeah, and again, this is what killed grunge music. He actually had a reply to that, and shout out to Metal Guru 85. Metal Guru 85 says it happens with all genres. They have their peak. Hair metal came and went. Nu metal came and went. Kurt Dying maybe sped it up for grunge. Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam are still going, but grunge isn't at their peak anymore.
That's true.
The number 2 most liked comment comes from the Goat Child 3545. Shout out to the Goat Child 3545. He says, everything goes stale after a while, guys. Oversaturation is a thing. Grunge was no exception. Drugs did do a lot of damage too. Kurt decided to end it all. Soundgarden split in 97 to later reform, and Lane Staley basically disappeared in the late 90s, and his death was not exactly a surprise. Also, grunge was more a marketing label than an actual genre, because all the bands under that umbrella were actually very different from one another. Also, bands like Stone Temple Pilots, Smashing Pumpkins, and Tool had nothing to do with it. It was all centered around the Seattle scene.
Oh, wow. I think there are some opposing points to that, because the thing about Tool and Stone Temple Pilots is they were grouped in by radio stations. I mean, I'm sure the record labels wanted it also. Just because their sound was different doesn't mean that they're not going to get classified as grunge genre by radio stations and record labels.
Yeah, I agree, man. And the number one most liked comment from What Killed Grunge, our last podcast, comes from Red Pill Mode. And for his comment, number one most liked comment from What Killed Grunge is, people got tired of whining. Sing something happy, you depressed mother.
Yep, that's it. At some point, we're like, just sing something happy.
I ain't gonna lie. There's a few honorable mentions in here where a lot of people are like, man, there's some sick things. Like, What Killed Grunge? A 12-gauge shotgun, heroin. There's a few out there. Shout out to all the trash talkers who commented. Again, if you comment, guys, if you're in the top 3 most liked comments, you will be read on the next podcast. Along, put your birthdays, and we'll do it at the end. Mm-hmm. Now, Smoke Dog.
Yeah.
Tell me some spooky things that have happened in yours. You give me one of yours, I'll give you one of mine.
You want to hear about I know we've talked about it before, but probably not on the podcast, right? Do you want to hear about the shadow person incident?
That's what I was hoping you'd bring up.
Yeah, I thought that may be what you were looking for. This happened in 2002 or 3, somewhere in there. And I had gotten a job driving a truck overnight. I was really young, too, and I should not have been in that position. I actually started working at a warehouse. This was one of my first jobs out of school. I started working at a warehouse, and they had overnight drive. They delivered all around Georgia also, but they had this one route where they would go into Alabama, and then on this route, it was a 12-hour route. Jesus. It was so long, and you would go from Atlanta to Anniston, that's the town.
Anniston, Georgia?
Anniston, Alabama.
Okay.
And then to Birmingham, and then up to Fort Payne, back to Anniston, back to Atlanta every night, or at least 5 days a week,
Okay.
And it is a grueling
So was this your
route.
first time taking that drive?
I had been working at the warehouse for a few months, probably 4 or 5 months, maybe.
But was this your first time taking that drive?
No. This didn't happen on the first time. No. Okay. You know how it is when you first start doing something. Yeah, it may be grueling, but the first time you're alert and you're ready. But after night after night after night, months into it, yeah, you're just like, another, because I don't remember exactly how many hours, but it was quite a bit from Birmingham up to Fort Payne.
Okay.
And there's a town in the middle called Gadsden, Alabama.
Shout out to all the, and again, guys, leave some of your paranormal stories down in the comments.
And it was, like I said, it was so grueling that, there's nights where you're out there, you're just driving, you're on an empty highway, nobody's out, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, you're just like, oh Lord. So in the midst of one of those nights, I go into Gadsden, Alabama. There's nobody out on the streets. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Nothing is moving.
3 o'clock is the devil's hour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was around that time. And I'm just cruising through the city. Green lights, because I guess they were not timed. They were all censored lights. So it's just a green light all the way through. I'm just traveling through. And in the midst of one of those, one of those nights. And it was only an AM/FM radio in there, too. So you couldn't play your own selection of music. You're just hoping you pick up radio stations here and there. So, you're trying to pay attention to whatever boring thing is on the radio at 3 o'clock in the morning. Which should have been like Coast to Coast AM. Would have been more
that would have been great.
But so I'm traveling through the city and like, you're just in and out kind of trying to stay awake, slapping yourself.
I always do this. I always shake my head.
Roll the window down, like, ugh.
Feel the cool wind.
Yeah. So I am blazing through this town, right? And I come to this big intersection. I guess it's the biggest intersection in town. It's not a huge city, Gaston. It's kind of a smaller town. And I'm headed toward this intersection. And in the midst of like, trying to stay awake, I see a figure run out into the intersection. And it ran directly in front of the truck to where I had no time to react at all. I just blazed right through this figure. And I'm like, oh my God, I just hit somebody. Like literally, I thought I hit somebody. But I stopped and turned around. I got out the truck and there is absolutely nothing. And it was like a shadow silhouette of a person. But I thought it being so dark, you just couldn't see them very well because it's dark outside. And
did you feel like you?
No, nothing at all, nothing at all. And I mean, that was my first thought. Also, is like I hit somebody, but there was actually absolutely no sense of it. You didn't feel the truck bump, nothing. I just went right through it, and it was pretty scary, man.
Look, y'all want me to tell you how I know Smokey's being completely honest? He's over here kind of shaking.
Oh, yeah.
He's kind of shaking
Dude,
a little
it was
bit.
scary. Like, in that moment, you jump out the truck, you're like, oh, my God, I just hit somebody. Dude, I searched the entire intersection. Like, I'm out there by myself at 3 o'clock in the morning in this town that I know nobody in. And I'm, like, running around this intersection like, where is this person? Like, dude, it freaked me out.
So I know you're a very logical thinker.
Mm-hmm.
What do you? Okay, before you answer that, what I'm gonna say is you probably were so tired, and you were so sleep deprived, and you're again. Me and Smokey know people who do substances and have done substances and been up for 3, 4, 5 days, and they see shadow figures. They literally call the police. Hey, there are ninjas in my tree right now. I feel like that you not being on the substance, but I feel like that if I had to give it a actual explanation, I would say you were probably just so sleep deprived.
Yeah, you start getting a little delusional,
start seeing hallucinations.
Yeah, that was the thing about that job is especially during those days. Maybe I would be better adjusted these days, but back then, I could not sleep during the day. I would go home. It would be like 8, 9 in the morning. And you try to sleep, and you're putting up blankets over the windows, trying to make it dark, and I couldn't do it because my internal clock was just off.
I could sleep 24 hours
anytime. Yeah, I can't sleep during the day.
Trust me, true story.
I don't take naps or anything.
Me and Smokey, I gotta say, I'm sure I've said this before, but when me and Smokey went to go see Tool, we were in Florida, and it had to be at least 5:30 in the morning, and Smokey doesn't really party as much as I do. Like, I done had drinks. I'm out there enjoying Tool. We get into our hotel room. I'm passed out sleeping. I just roll over and I look at my watch and I see, okay, it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock. Yeah. This fool Smokey peeking out the window with a cup of coffee. I'm like, go to bed, dude.
That's when I get up.
Hell no, man.
6 o'clock in the morning, I'm up.
Dude,
I'm doing something.
If I didn't have, I promise you, if I didn't have nothing to do for the day, I could sleep for literally 48 hours.
All right, man, my back would be hurting, my head, I'd have a headache.
We're going to have to get you a new bed then.
Nah, any bed. It doesn't matter.
But
so sleep for that long.
So did you feel like you were, after you felt like you saw, or okay, I'm not gonna say like you felt, do you legitimately believe you saw a silhouette?
Oh, I absolutely saw it. I don't know if it was real or what, but that's a phenomenon that happens a lot though. A lot of people see shadow people.
Yes.
And Tech Nine actually has a song called is it called Shadow People or whatever it's called? But in the chorus, Chris Calico sings, "I see shadows on the road again. I wonder if they're coming for my soul."
Were they coming for your soul on the road?
I don't know, man.
Well, here's the thing. Did you feel compelled that you should have called the police?
I thought about it, but there was nothing there. Like, I didn't feel a bump. I didn't actually hit anything. So what was I gonna do? And sound like I was having a breakdown to the police?
The cops would have pulled up and said, "Sir, you're no longer driving.
Yeah,
you don't belong to be on the road.
Yeah.
You don't belong."
I'd have a extended stay in Gadsden, Alabama, if I called the police.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, there was absolutely nothing there. If you actually hit a person, you're gonna see a body Even if they run off, you're gonna see blood or something, a dent in your car.
Something, yeah.
There was absolutely nothing.
There was no dent or nothing?
No, nothing at all.
So
No.
it's either, listen, man, here's, before we go any deeper, I want to just ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I am agnostic about it.
You just don't know.
Yeah, because everybody sees things, and then you have to wonder yourself: is it just in my head? Did my mind create that? Is it coming from my subconscious? Is it an energy from something else?
But is that? Would you not consider that the definition of a ghost, an energy from something else?
Yeah, I guess it would be. But that's one of the things that runs through your head. Like, I don't know if it is an energy from something else. If it's a passed on soul that's still recreating their death over and over again.
So what you saw that night, was that a ghost?
I mean, possibly. Yeah. I can't
you
say.
Can't. That's the thing with Smokey. He won't definitively say something.
No, you can't.
And I'm the same way. Me and you're the same way when it comes to certain things.
One thing you'll learn about life is nothing is definite. Ever.
Nothing is not what you think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's an interesting one because I've heard other people have similar stories to that, and to where they're driving late and they're the only car on the highway, and then you see these things, and you're like. Mm-hmm. And I've even heard accounts from people who were actually wide awake and like, hey, I done had 3 cups of coffee. I'm up, but I'm seeing things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it happens overnight.
That is the question. What are they seeing? What is it that they are seeing?
I mean, it could be as simple as just the lighting from the street light hits something, or your headlights hit something and reflects and makes this little shadow or something. It could be something that simple.
So would you say that was your...
But it's the pareidolia. Like, you see it, and it looks like a person to you.
What the hell did you just say?
Pareidolia. It's when you equate inanimate things to something that looks human.
No one here has ever used that word on a daily.
They have.
No one here has ever used that word in a daily conversation. They have. What's the word again, Smokey?
Pareidolia.
How many people have used that word today? Let's be honest. But no, I mean, you could be right. It could be a reflection from a light or something, but at the end of the day, you don't know, and that's where the paranormal starts to come in. Mm-hmm. So in my situation, and I've had a few where I'm like, okay, which hell, we've had a few here doing reactions.
Yeah, absolutely.
God, it was Tool.
We did
Dyer Von Satan.
Yes.
Dude, okay. Trash Talkers. The Trash Talkers. The reaction was Tool. Wasn't it on Halloween?
Yes. It was like leading up to Halloween.
Okay, it was like when we did the 13 Days of Halloween.
Dyer Von Satan.
The song was Dyer Von Satan, or however you want to pronounce it. But we were doing it, and as we were talking about it, literally something fell off the bag, and the video's on here.
Well, no, it didn't fall. It was like a skull.
It moved.
Yeah,
the skull moved.
We had that candle burning next to it, and the wax was dripping down onto the shelf, and you could see the skull actually just rotate.
And listen, I swear, just go to just type in rappers react to Tool, Dyer Von Satan, and just watch it. Just read the comments. I think the comment might be pinned of where it said it moved. But here's what's crazy. So now, the studio that we record at, it's located in this room right here. This room that we're in. Now, before Trash Talkers, before Rappers React, yes, there was still a Hollywood. Yes, there was still a Smokey. Yes, we were putting out music. But my cousin, actually, I have to go back before that, because in this same exact room that we are in right now, I kind of have to put personal information out there.
Well, you don't have to say names.
No, but okay, my parents own a few houses, and at the time, usually our family members lived in this house, but they rented it out one time to another lady, and she wasn't part of the family, but she was a very weird lady, like very weird. Like, she would put like sticky notes on, like, stop taking my peanut butter, or stop, like, she was a very...
2 people that weren't living there.
Well, it was just one lady.
Yeah, so who's she leaving the notes
That's
for?
the thing, right. So she would leave like these things, and my parents would come over and collect rent and be like, why does she have sticky notes? Like, is someone else over here? And I still get mail to this day, and this might have been 20 years ago, 15, 20 years, probably about 15 years ago. But okay, after she moves out because she had some financial things, then my aunt and my cousins moved in. Now, my cousin stayed in the room that we are recording in right now, and he said, this was right after he left, he said, man, it's God. I kind of got to go back before that. So I told him. He never told me about what he saw, but I told him, hey, I'm like, we did Dire Von Satan. I said, hey, look at this. Did you see this thing moving? There was another video where something like fell in the background where nothing. I can't remember what video.
There was one where on the shelf that was on that side, on your
yeah,
side,
where like something.
there was a necklace hanging there.
Yes, that started moving.
I do not remember which video that was in.
Not only that,
but it just started moving.
We also had the lights flicker too.
Oh yeah,
and that hasn't happened in any other room in this house. Now, I showed my cousin the video. I'm like, bro, do you see this happening? This like, and of the skull moving in the diary. He was like, dude, that used to be my room after that lady moved out. And he said, I had my bed in here and all that, and this is where he slept at night. And he said at night, every now and then he would see green orbs, which you guys have pointed out too. I think in the Dire Von Satan, you guys have said there are like orbs and things in that room. But he said, I saw green orbs just in the room. And I'm like, okay, maybe that has nothing to do with it. But then we go to do the reaction to Dire Von Satan, and then we see that, and then we see the chain move, and then we see the lights flicker. And it's like, we could chalk it all up to coincidence, but how did my cousin know? Like, what, him seeing the green orbs, like,
yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, there has to be some energy here.
Maybe it is. I've always, like, not been a fan of the orbs, though. Like, the videos where they're like, look, this is an orb, because it's too easy with a camera to have a piece of dust float
I
down
get that.
or whatever.
But when you have a young... he's not, what was he, like 11? 11. He's like, man, I remember seeing green orbs. He's like, I was afraid. 11-year-old.
Maybe he did see something. I'm not saying that. I'm just not a fan of the paranormal videos where they're like, look at all these orbs, and they're like, that's probably dust floating around or whatever. The orbs are a hard one to use as evidence.
Yeah, and not only that, I do have a problem with like these videos, and like it'll be they came out and they walked to the edge of the house.
Oh, yeah.
And it'd be like a look, and you could barely see it. It's like, dude, we got
Yeah.
5K phone videos.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Like,
it's always fuzzy and
grainy.
Yeah, man. I saw one recently where this lady was chilling in her house, and she called up her husband, boyfriend, whoever it is, and said, the house smells really bad, and the title over it says, the house smelled like sulfur. You've seen that one?
I've seen that one. Yeah.
Bouncing around lately, and they were like, watch the cross on the wall.
And it flips upside
over.
down. I saw that, and the lights start flickering.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's not a paranormal incident, but that is way too easy to fake.
But here's the thing: we're so easy to just say, "Oh, it's easy to be fake." But what if that actually? Because dude, I've also seen videos where like the dude's actually making fun of it. It's not like someone talking like that. He's like, "I'm at home, 3:00, and for some reason the freaking door is just slamming open. I don't know why."
I love the poltergeist videos.
Yes.
I love watching them.
God,
I don't know if they're all fake or they're all real or it's a 50-50 or whatever, but I love watching them for some reason.
Why is that?
I don't, just because I want to imagine, like, what if the world is like that?
Okay, you being agnostic.
And if it happened to me, I'd be freaked.
That's and listen, I want to bring some up. But keep that in mind, just because I want to bring something up. But what would it take for you, being me and you both being agnostic on the paranormal of ghosts and ghouls and goblins? What would it take for you to say, okay, I know that was something not of this world?
Oh yeah, something to actually interact with me, like a shadow on the road. I mean, yeah, you could pass that off as subconscious, or if there's orbs on the video or something on the wall just happens to flip over, like
that wouldn't freak you out.
Oh, it would if it was happening right in front of me.
That's what I'm saying. What would it take for you to believe?
I would be really freaked out if one of those poltergeist videos happened to me. If I walk in my kitchen and the pantry door is just slamming back and forth like that. Or you see those videos, they're really popular these days, of someone that's always beating on the door and then they open it up and then there's nothing
there.
That happens so much. I want to know, why are all these poltergeists beating on people's doors? If it's really happening, what's the point behind just beating, unless you just want to scare the living?
Yeah, okay, well then, again, my question is, what would it take for you to see in your own personal life?
If I knew my house was not rigged, And I knew for a fact that there is no other way this could happen, and the door is just slamming, or people are beating on the door, and I open it up.
You had
and
that
there's nothing.
happen.
I've had something similar happen. You want me to go into that?
Yeah, it's Halloween. Of course we're going into it.
So when I first moved into the house that I'm in now, like it's a modular house. It's really creaky, and you'll hear like pops and moves and the house settling. And it's been doing this the whole time. The house was built in 73.
Come on, bro. That's old.
It's still settling to this day.
By the way, did you know if someone dies in a house and you ask the person who's selling you the house, hey, did someone die
They
here?
have to tell you?
No, legally they don't have to tell you.
Oh, really?
They don't have to tell you.
You would think they would. But...
You would think so, but they don't have to tell you. And the reason that is because it could be multiple realtors selling it to you. Like that realtor doesn't know what happened 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. In all the places I've lived, I've never thought to ask if someone died because it's never been a big thing to me. Like I don't know.
That's how I know you. I know I always say you blacker than me, but that's how I know that's your white side right there. That's how I know you got some white in you. Oh, I don't like in the movies. You always see the white guy or the white person in the movie. I'm black and white. I can say this, but what's that weird noise upstairs, George?
Oh yeah, I'm the one to go.
Let's go investigate. That I'm out. I'm out. I'm out.
That was T Slim.
That's
T
me.
Slim was always like, nope, I'm gone.
That's the black side of me,
Yeah.
and that's the white side of you.
Yeah.
But no, continue about your story.
But when I first got there, I noticed all the creaking, and thought the house is still settling for some reason. After all these years, it's still doing that, and it still does it to this day, but not as bad as when I first moved in. Over the first year of living there were several instances. Well, actually, I can't even say that. Just yesterday, I heard something knocking on the roof.
Yesterday?
Just yesterday.
Wow,
There was
okay.
something knocking on the roof. And I went out to see what it was. I didn't see anything. I thought it was a bird, maybe a woodpecker for some reason.
You got to get to it. Because this might all tie it in. Keep going.
So, I think actually my daughter might have actually told me first when she was staying there overnight, and she was like, I think there's people walking around in the house. And I'm like, well, everybody's asleep, and how could that be? Because she stays up all night and goes to bed when the sun comes up.
Kids.
So she tells me that. No, I didn't think much of it. I'm like, yeah, you're probably just hearing the house settle or whatever.
Or sleep deprivation like you were when you were driving.
Exactly, yeah.
Go ahead.
So I'm in my bed one night, and I hear it sounds like footsteps right across the ceiling. Not on the roof. You can almost tell the difference when it's on the roof or on the ceiling itself because there's an attic space in the middle. Dude, someone ran across the ceiling. Wow. I don't know.
Dude,
what
I am convinced your house is haunted.
It didn't sound like a squirrel or something got in there. It didn't sound like a rodent. It sounded like footsteps.
Like somebody up there walking.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
But of course, I've checked it out so many times and nothing. There was one night where in the middle of the night, it's one of those where you wake up right before something happens. You ever had that happen?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, I sleep with the gun next to my bed.
You'll wake up in the middle of the night and then you're like, oh, what am I doing awake? And then you go to sleep and knock on the door or something.
Man,
you're like, oh.
You know what? Oh, but now you can attribute that to something because I think
like
it's
a
actually
premonition almost.
well. I think it's actually scientifically proven. Like if you wake up, like if you've been asleep for 4 hours and then you wake up for like 5-10 minutes and then you go back to sleep, that's when you have the most vivid dreams.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, that does happen. Before you go into REM sleep.
Yeah, like it's like you went to sleep for 4 hours, but if you wake up, take a pee, then you go back to sleep. That's when
that's
really
when you hit the second half.
Yeah. But I don't know what that's about. But I was bringing up earlier talking about you being blacker than me, and I'm actually half black. I got a question to ask you.
I never finished the story.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Just hang on to the question now. So I woke up in the middle of the night one night, and I'm thinking, why am I awake? And I'm like, all right, let me go back to sleep. And then boom.
Oh, that's right.
This was before I had a cat. There was nobody there but me. And I go in, and the trash can in the kitchen had been turned over. Like the lid was off, and there was trash falling out or whatever. That was probably the most suspicious out of all the nights that I'm going through. Like, how does a trash can? It's just sitting there by the wall like it always does, and it just turns over for no reason at all. No idea, unless there was a rodent that got in the house.
But that's a big ass rodent.
Yeah, that can actually turn over a trash can. Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. There was nothing there when I went in though.
What do you think? If you had to take a guess, what was it?
I don't know. Could be psychic energy. It could
Well,
be.
isn't that a form of paranormal?
Of a specter, yes, it could be. Yeah, I mean, but when people think about ghosts, they specifically think of someone died and their soul stayed here.
Bro,
But it could be many different things. It could be psychic energy from someone living that is focusing energy into your house or whatever, or around you. And the brain is capable of many things that we don't understand. It could be you yourself that is causing these things to happen psychically without even realizing it.
Good point. Good point.
Like tulpas.
Yes, I was waiting on you to bring up tulpas.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wanting to again.
It's a thought form. Yeah.
But you can say that applies with anything with the mind. If you say something enough, if you speak something enough, if you write something enough, eventually it's probably going to happen to you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's why I believe in manifestation.
Yeah.
Speak it into existence. If you want it, again, Nike has the best slogan of all time. If you want something, just do it. It's that easy.
Yeah, that's something I'm not agnostic about because I've seen it happen too many times in my life that if you focus enough energy on something, it can happen in real life.
Man, well, we need to start focusing I focus my energy on a lot of positive things that I want, and that will happen. I don't say want.
That's probably the key or the secret, as they say.
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah. But so what I was gonna say is I want to ask you this. So, like, guys, my house is always spooky. Like, I've got decorations of like skulls, and I've got Ouija boards in front of my fireplace, downstairs on my main table, right in front of my TV. I've got skull paintings. Like, my house is always spooky. Let me ask you this. I'm talking to White Smokey here, right? All right, take all the blackness out of you, okay? Why is it that when I invite either my black family members, the black half side, or the side of my family that's black, or my black friends into my house, they're like, bro, man, this is some Satanist crap over here. You need to listen alone. But when I bring my white friends over, they're like, oh, dude, this is so cool. What is that you think?
Do the white people you bring over, are they religiously affiliated? Because I've seen white people do that also.
Yeah, I did have it with one white person do that.
Yeah.
But it's always the black side of my family or my black friends are always like, bro, that.
Oh, as far as I've seen, and of course, this is just a generalization. It's a stereotype, and there's always somebody who's like, not me, though.
Yeah, and that's cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I get that. But from what I've seen, black people tend to believe in the paranormal more than white people.
Why?
You can't really say it's genetic. It's more of just upbringing. If your parents told you that ghosts are real and you better watch out because they will get you.
Yeah, but what about the Holy Ghost? I mean, white people are talking about
that's religious,
and black people. Well, are black people more religious than white? Damn, now we'd have brought this in.
I don't know. Per person,
I don't know.
It might be. Black people might be more religious per person than white people.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of agnostics and atheists, white people out there.
Well, what do you say about me? Well, guy, I'm half breed, so I don't.
It doesn't matter. Like it's a stereotype.
Yeah.
You don't have to fit into it. I know a lot of white people that are agnostic and.
I've always wanted to know that. Like, I've always been attracted to the dark side of things. My favorite rap group is 3 6 Mafia.
Yeah.
Hollywood 6.
Yeah.
You know,
they didn't fall into that typical mold of got to be a good Southern Baptist.
I mean, we live in the Bible Belt, so we were shunned upon. Like, man, we were. Y'all don't understand.
Dude, when we were doing music, I was called a Satanist.
We still do music when we were doing that kind of music.
Yeah, exactly.
We were doing a type of music where we were like, people would throw Bibles at us, and they would swear it would melt us. Like, I mean, we still have that in us, but it's just like at that age, you're like, oh, this is. I still f with it. I mean, dude, there's a big crucifix upside down. I'm gonna have to do what Cribs Hollywood. I'm gonna have to put that on the channel one day, man. Show y'all what my house looks like. But I don't know. It's
I'm religiously unaffiliated though. I just like the dark side of things.
But why does that? But why? Why do we enjoy the dark side of things?
A lot of psychologists would theorize that you're attracted to what scares you most because it's a way of dealing with fear.
Meaning you're saying basically accept it. So if it does happen, then you're okay.
Yeah. Like if you get associated with it, then it's not as scary to you. Like people scared of clowns and they grow up to become a clown because that's a way of dealing with that fear.
It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: are you afraid of death?
No.
I'm not afraid of death at all. And in fact, I think it's a beautiful thing, you know. And you being my dog.
I mean, there's been times where I was like, it should come on.
Yeah, come on with it. Come on with it. I'm ready.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, there's times though. I mean, you know, your thoughts change throughout the years.
Well, you have kids.
You have depression cycles and whatnot.
We were
but there's definitely times where I'm like, I want to stay here as long as possible.
Yeah,
then there's other times like, you know what? If death happens right now, I'd be fine.
I swear to God, we were talking about this the other day. Me and some of my other homeboys, man. It's like, dude, if I died today, I'm gonna knock on wood because I plan on being here for a while. But I've had a great life, dude. Mm-hmm. I've had a great life. But there's me being such a mama's boy. Again, my mom raised me until I was 15. She was she was everything. I know I talk about my mom a lot, but y'all, my mother is that I love. There's nothing more on this planet that I love, and god dang it, I love oysters and sushi. But I love my mama. I'm a mama's boy. Like she did her thing. Just to see her work 2 jobs and take care of, like, just to see what she's done. I'm not gonna put it out there, but I was talking to some of my homeboys, and I'm like, listen, I kind of want to go before my mama. Because I really don't think I honestly don't think I can deal with that. Yeah. And please, I don't even want to talk about it. Like talk about the manifestation thing, but I don't think I can deal with it, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, man.
I mean, you will if it happens. You'll get over it. Everybody does eventually. I mean, well, I guess not everybody does. Some people decide to end their lives on their own volition, but you think that it's something you can't go through until it happens, and then you realize months later, you're like, okay, I got through it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, there's definitely that dread of knowing that death is coming for someone, and you're like, oh, I don't want to go through that.
That's crazy, man.
And it almost seems selfish, though, right?
Yeah, to say, but they always say, parents always say, I want my children to outlive me.
Yeah, because they don't want to go through the pain. Which it is selfish in a sense, but it still shows how much you love that person.
Yes. I think that's the key word. I love my mother so much that I could not picture life without her. I can't. I just can't see what that would be about. I don't know, man.
Yep.
It's Halloween, dude.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Halloween. Y'all, look, let's hop into these birthdays and see what the Florida. But again, guys, if y'all giving out candy, give out the good candy. Don't be giving
the king
out
size
freaking
candy bars.
No, well, not even that. Don't be giving out peppermint, dude. Somebody gave out walnuts one day.
Oh.
Why are you giving out walnuts, bro?
Yeah.
Give out good candy if you're gonna do it. Hell, leave a Capri Sun in that something if you got it.
Oh, you know what I hate though? Before we get into it. The videos of the people that leave the buckets out on the
that was
porch.
me. That was me. I'm sorry.
And then there's always some kid that walks up and just dumps
that whole
a whole line of kids behind them that want some of that candy, and they're just like running away.
That was me, bro. Does that make me? I mean, that was me as a kid, though.
For one, I mean, kids are gonna do it because that's what they do. I mean, well, no, I can't even say that.
I've seen adults do it.
Yeah, I have too. That's
as an adult, I couldn't
worse.
do it. As an adult,
that's
I
way worse because you look back and see all them kids that are in line waiting to get some of that candy, and you're just like, nope, my kid's getting it all.
So adult Hollywood would beat the hell out of kid Hollywood.
Yeah.
Put that goddamn candy.
Exactly.
Ooh,
yeah.
All right.
For one, if you're handing out candy too, like just sit out there and hand it out.
Yeah. Well, see, I normally hand I was gonna speak on the video that's I hope is not blocked, but apparently I'm not handing it out because I always hand out candy to the kids. They know if y'all want some candy, come to Hollywood's house. Like they know I got the good candy. But that video can't be blocked. I can't speak on it because the video might be blocked, but I just want to put it on a projectile and show it so they don't.
But it's still Halloween, and it should have came out yesterday.
It should have. Yeah,
they know the video has been recorded.
Yeah, it's the Slipknot video. Anyway, but all right, so let's do some WTF, Smoke Dog. You ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so we got Amy Geneva Lee 6393. Shout out Amy Geneva Lee. Her birthday is August, right?
August.
All right, August 12th, and don't leave the year. Amy, shout out to you. You left the year.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's cool, but Just leave the month and the day. So, Smokey, what the Florida for Amy Geneva Lee 6393 on August 12th?
What happened on August 12th? All right. Okay, so this story came out on the 15th, but it happened on the 12th. Florida man sprays woman with roach spray.
No.
Breakout nunchucks.
No!
Over loud music, cops say. This man's
Turn it down!
This man's weapon of choice was loud music, nunchucks, and roach
freaking
spray.
roach spray. Bruh.
Lord, I hope she's not hurt. A Florida man has been accused of spraying his neighbors with roach spray and attempting to use nunchucks on them, hitting himself in the head instead. That's good. That's good.
You got
Over
what you deserve.
A loud music complaint.
All right, now hold on. Let's think about this. What time?
He was 61 years old, by the way.
God, dude, there's a lot of factors that could go on. What time of day was this? Was this 5 in the morning? Was this 3 in the morning?
Does it say a time?
Also,
yes, it happened around 1:15 a.m.
Okay, now at 61, you sleeping, bruh.
Yeah.
Listen, not too long ago, I actually had the HOA come knock at my door because I had my music up too loud, but it was 5 o'clock, and I wanted to apologize to my neighbor, which has never come out the house. I don't know why. But I'm sorry. So I ain't coming out with roach spray, or she didn't come out with roach spray, nunchucks, and loud music.
Apparently, dude just was feeling himself in that music, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you want me to turn it down? Watch this."
Boom! It's himself in the head.
All right, that didn't work.
Pull out the roach spray.
That didn't work, but I got some mace.
Gotcha. All right, so next birthday we got for What the Florida. So Smokey, Agat, AGAT 5317. What the Florida for July 25th.
All right, July 25th. That is actually my birthday, also.
That's Smoke Dog's. So we get 2 and 1.
Yeah.
Smoke Dog's birthday and Agate 5317 or Agat 5317.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Agat 5317.
All right, let's make sure this is not the one we read for my birthday recently. All right, Florida man tries to enter Patrick Space Force base to warn of aliens versus dragons. I think we did cover this story
do that
before.
one.
Yeah,
We did do that. Give me
Let's
another
give him another one.
Is there another one on that day?
Absolutely. A lot happened on.
What's up with you and Agat? Yeah. Yours birthday.
Florida man arrested while trying. Oh, that's the same one. Never mind. Let's get another one.
Damn. You see, we can literally put any day. Excuse me. Any day, and there's something crazy in Florida.
Florida man arrested after dunking woman's head in vat of tar.
Oh my
Deputies
God.
say. A Florida man has been arrested after an apparent terrifying case of domestic violence.
Dude, that's not domestic violence. That's attempted murder.
Yeah, absolutely. Rosewood is just miles from the Gulf of Mexico. When deputies arrive, they said a woman told them that the guy dunked her head in a vat of tar. Tar used to treat clam and oyster bags.
Wait, tar is that the black stuff they use for roads,
Yeah, that's
right?
what I was thinking they were talking about. But it says the tar is used to clean clam
Look,
and
we ain't
oyster
finna
bags.
justify this, bro. We are not finna justify this, bro. This is messed up for...
And I wondered if we might have covered that one before.
That did
but
sound familiar.
I can do one more if you want.
No, I got one more for you. Let's go. Let's go to the next one. All right. Again, I got 5317. We greatly appreciate it. All right. So we got 2. All right. So we got Mike Wynn 4855. His birthday is October 12th.
All right.
October 12th. Wait, didn't we just do a 12? Oh, it was 8. Damn, 12 might be a lucky number. We did.
Yeah, we haven't done October 12th because it didn't come up in the search.
All right, what we got? Smokey, what the Florida for Mike Wynn 4855?
All right, on October 12th, deputies cleared for shooting naked man armed with crossbow who claimed aliens were after him. A Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office deputy has been cleared of wrongdoing after he shot and wounded a naked man who aimed a crossbow at him and others deputies as they attempted to arrest the man for barricading himself in a house.
Wait, what about the aliens again? He thought aliens were after him?
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to read more of the story. They received a 911 call from a man who said his son, 26 years old, was under the influence of narcotics and had threatened to shoot him at his home. According to Florida Department of Law report, the father arranged to meet deputies at a convenience store. Wow, this is one of those long stories.
Yeah, this is one we're gonna
trying to find the part about the aliens.
Either way, you barricading yourself in the house. I mean,
Yeah, they wrote a whole dissertation.
just read me the headline again. What was the headline?
It was deputy cleared for shooting naked man armed with a crossbow who claimed aliens were after him.
I mean, first of all, what the Florida? The hell is in the water down there? First of all. Second of all, the deputy kind of was in the right with self-defense.
Yeah, I mean, if it's shoot or be shot.
I mean,
he
a
had
crossbow can literally...
yeah.
I mean, that's defending your... And I will say this. I know this for a fact. Florida has something called stand your ground law. Literally, this is a true fact. I listen to a lot of podcasts about, you know, hip-hop related things. And there's a rapper named 1090 Jake. Shout out to 1090 Jake. Or he's not a rapper, but he exposes rappers that do snitching. He said literally...
He's from Florida, too.
Yeah.
Like Tallahassee or something.
Well, he was born in Boston, actually.
Yeah, he's got that Boston accent, I'll tell you that.
But yeah, 1090 Jake exposes rappers who say, "Oh, I've never snitched," and he says he goes and he's got a YouTube channel. Shout out to 1090 Jake because he puts out, you know, paperwork from people that say that are basically lying to their fans. But he said in the state of Florida, the stand of your ground law. If I come to you and I say, Smokey, if you don't give me your shirt, I'm going to beat you up right now. You could shoot me in the head and you would beat that case.
Wow, that's a little lenient.
That is crazy. Georgia's kind of got that too, though.
Yeah, I think there has to be like a weapon drawn before you can do it.
From what I've heard in Florida, and to our Floridians, call me out on my BS, but from what I've heard from the Floridians, they say you can literally, someone could come up to me and say, Hollywood, take that chain off or I'm going to kill you. I can't legally, but I could pull my gun out, shoot you in your head because you threatened my life. And 99%, I probably am going to beat that case because I was threatened.
Yeah. I'm sure they take it on a case-by-case situation.
Yeah, of course. Like in Georgia, you know, I physically know people where someone has had their home broken into while they were there, and the person shot the person like in the leg, and the cop said you should have killed him. Yeah. I totally agree. If you break in someone's house, I feel like my life is threatened.
They'll say that because if they're dead, they're not going to get off. They're not going to testify against you and send you to jail.
Break that down.
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with any of this.
I'm sorry, you breaking in my house and you're not invited here. I'm shooting.
Yeah, definitely. But and depending on your state you're in, it's whether they had a weapon or not. But
bro, there's so many.
And I don't know the whole situation, but if a cop is going to say that, then the only reason I could think of why they would say that is because there's going to be a court trial over this. I mean, there probably will be anyway. If the person survives. But yes, if the person doesn't survive, they're not going to be there to pin the charges on you rather than... And you would get off because you're telling your story that the guy broke in and he was threatening me and he was going to shoot me, so I shot him first.
You don't even have to threaten me. You're breaking in my house without my consent.
Yeah. I mean, some states it don't matter.
You're right. Like California, dude. Look. I know people want to hate on Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy, actually, that happened to Soulja Boy. Mm-hmm. And the cop, there's blood, and he's like, yeah, he broke in my house. And they said, well, you should have killed him. Yeah. But he got off. Gucci Man, you know, one of my favorite rappers ever. He's sitting. Why does this not happen in rock? why am I just bringing up rappers?
It's very rare, but you know, rap is the sport where they carry guns.
Hey, it's happened in sports. Someone tried to break in John Jones, greatest fighter on earth. That fool was in his underwear chasing him with a shotgun. Dude, just don't do nothing stupid because listen,
don't break into people's houses.
Thank
Jesus
you. Just
Christ,
don't do it. And that's one thing I love about the South. That's one thing I love about this country is that we have a right to bear arms, and it is to to protect yourself. But at the same time, the right to bear arms is the Second Amendment, right? Mm-hmm. It's there to protect against the government and tyranny. But in the South, we don't play that. We don't play that. Don't try it down here. Anyway, if you out there trick or treating and you happen to just enjoy yourself, be safe, man. Just don't do nothing stupid. Give out the good candy. Give out the good candy. Mm-hmm. Give out.
And don't break into people's houses.
Don't break into people's houses.
And we actually, one of the few places, we have a town here where you are required by law to have a gun in your house.
And I thought that was cap, but I looked into
true.
it, and Smokey's right. There's a county in Georgia where you are required by law to carry a firearm. Mm-hmm. And I'm cool with that.
Or not carry it, but at least have
one in your house. Yeah. Yes, 100%. Listen, this was a great podcast. Happy Halloween to all the trash talkers out there. Again, if you're going to give out candy, if you're going to go trick-or-treating with the kids, do it. Make sure you have a good time. But the ultimate goal is just to be safe.
Absolutely.
Line. Guys, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us on this episode of the Trash Talk Podcast. Smokey, you got anything else?
That's it for today.
That's it for this weekend, guys. We'll see you next week. And with that being said, my name is Barringer Hollywood 6. Bye.
I am Larry Smokey Ramirez.
And we are
over
and
out.
Deuces.
Yeah.